Back here on the Monday desk, and I'm joined by Carl Reuter. And Carl, I wish we were having you here under different circumstances. Tough loss in the Long Island community. Bob Hodgson passes away on Saturday. What can you tell me about him?
Well, he was just an outstanding man, the William Floyd coach. 23 years he was on the job. And, you know, he got here a couple of years after I started covering sports on Long Island, Keith. And what I can tell you is I kind of find it ironic that a champion that Bob Hodgson was passes away on championship weekend of high school basketball. This is a man, as Rob Pavanelli was walking out of the studio when he did the segment with you and Kevin Devaney Jr., Rob said, you know what? He is one guy that really, really loved high school basketball. He epitomized what a high school basketball coach should be all about.
What kind of coach was he?
He was a teacher. He really was. I mean, he got the most out of his kids. When Bob Hodgson, I'm talking about his son as well, but his son Rob was one of the greatest players that Long Island ever saw. But Bob Hodgson got the most out of the individual that played for him. He was a great student of the game. He was a teacher of the game. And the kids respected him because of his knowledge of the game. This is a guy who also played high school basketball on the island. Bob Hodgson graduated West Islip High School back in 1967, knows the game. And when you, who played high school sports as I did, if your coach could get the most out of you, if you put that all together and you have chemistry with the other guys, you could be a winning program. And that's exactly what William Floyd basketball was all about.
And it truly is a coaching fraternity. All the coaches from around the tri-state have been talking about this morning, the loss of the legend, including Chris Agostino.
Just to get my first state championship, it's an amazing experience. I'll tell you one thing, I prayed very hard for Coach Hodgson and his family, and I was so proud that he was up there looking down on us tonight.
That's a great thing that Chris Agostino said. They had a moment of silence at the Civic Center in Glens Falls over the weekend for Bob Hodgson. And, you know, you heard from Chris Agostino, Bill Mataratona echoed his thoughts. And we lost a giant in the high school coaching fraternity. You also lost a great man. Forget about what he did as a coach. And his best friend, one of his best friends, believe it or not, the powerhouse football program at William Floyd High School, Paul Longo, their longtime coach, they were like best of friends. And he said that he and Coach Hodgson would talk once a week or so, just talking about going over what it's like to deal with a high school kid, strategy, even though it was two different sports. Paul Longo, unfortunately, I was the one that made the phone call to him on Saturday night. And he said, hey, and I go, oh, you haven't heard, because Paul was upbeat as he always was, and that's when I told him, and that's when everybody started making phone calls to talk about the guy that we'll no longer see. I mean, he at least went out as a champion. He won the Suffolk County Championship this year. He was hoping in that game, Keith, against Baldwin, to win his first Long Island championship. It didn't happen. But you know what? Throw out all the numbers, throw out all those records. We wish Bob Hodgson was still here. And, of course, our deepest sympathies to his family, including his son Rob, who I covered as a reporter here when Rob, one of the greatest players, as I said, ever played on the island. But we'll miss the big guy. We really will.
Carl, thanks for coming on and sharing your memories and your stories.
Thank you, Keith.
Well, if you want to find out about the wake will be Wednesday from 2 to 4 p.m., 7 to 9 p.m. It's at Roma Funeral Home in Shirley, and then the funeral service will be held at 10 a.m. Thursday at St. Jude's Roman Catholic Church in Mastic Beach. Bob Hodgson, gone at the age of 61.